My dear friends in Wilmette, Chicago, my grandmother would always say, "A Mensch tracht und Gott lacht." Man proposes and God disposes. Rabbi Moshe Teldin and myself made timely, deliberate, careful plans for me to be with you this evening in the flesh. Alas, it was not meant to be. So first to my friends that I was so looking forward to seeing tonight, who I met on previous occasions. I so look forward to seeing you very soon. I hope our paths cross on a happy occasion. To all of you, friends I was hoping to make, I want to wish you Mazel Tov. I understand that it is through the efforts of many of you present tonight that the Chabad Center for Jewish Life and Learning will be open on June 14th, God willing. You have come from diverse walks of life to truly create a confluence for all Jewish souls in your area. I hear that the building is being built of Jerusalem stone, a mini Jerusalem in Wilmette, from which will flow Torah and good deeds to suffuse your community, and from there it will radiate outward like the Jerusalem of yore to the rest of the world. The Baal Shem Tov taught that a person is found where their thoughts are. And due to the miracle of modern technology, not only my thoughts, but my image can be with you tonight, albeit from far. But it's not the same as being there in person, so I want to keep my comments rather short and succinct. In fact, what I really want to do is present you with a picture, an image, a portrait you can carry in your mind and etch into your heart. I believe that if we, you and I, if we all frame this portrait properly and give it prominent placement in our every life, in our every day, our every hour will be different. So come with me. It's a Shabbos in the winter in New York. It's 1952. It is just shy of 2 years since the Rebbe has taken over the mantle of leadership of the Chabad Lubavitch movement. It is before anyone can conceive of the ways in which the Rebbe's vision and teachings will transform Jewish life and living, indeed change the world entire. On that Shabbos, the Rebbe delivers a Hasidic discourse on words from the weekly Parsha, Parshat Mishpatim, in the book of Exodus. The words he begins with are, Lo tia mishakela, there shall be no miscarriage among you. The discourse electrifies those present, and in future years will be described as a landmark discourse, as one that is distinctive in its intellectual underpinnings, and just as unique in the passion that fuels it. The Rebbe begins with an existential question, one that touches upon the deepest strata and ultimate paradoxes found within Kabbalistic and Hasidic teachings. Can finite man truly impact, affect, do anything meaningful at all for the infinite creator of the universe? In plain English, do our efforts really matter? Do our overtures have efficacy? I am sure that everyone present among you tonight who has not yet studied this discourse will do so in fullness and be vastly enriched by the study. My intention here is simply to highlight one point, and I'm therefore forced to gloss over the profundity of both the intellectual and practical aspects of this discourse, and simply to hone in on one idea. In answer to the opening question, the Rebbe teaches that ultimately our efforts make all the difference. Not because of who we are, not because of our virtue, not even because of the sincerity of our overture, but rather because when fleeting, ephemeral, here today, gone tomorrow, limited and oh so vulnerable man engages in Torah and mitzvos, the effect, the outcome of this service leads to the fruition of God's deepest desire, the refinement and the elevation of this physical world. And this affects God's essence. This affects the most transcendent and lofty aspect of God. We imperfect mortals We, with our failings and our foibles, can actually affect God's essence through our every mitzvah. Think about that. Try to wrap your brain around that. The Rebbe goes on to explain that spiritual service begins with accepting the yoke of heaven, submission to God, and that must give birth to both love and awe of God. At this point, we can feel the intensity of the discourse quicken and heighten when the Rebbe warns us against feeling content in our spiritual service. He cautions us about the danger of self-satisfaction. The Rebbe teaches us that the antidote to smugness, to a feeling that we have arrived, is to realize just how little time we have to accomplish what we must, and just how much there is yet to be done. And when the Rebbe says the following words, and I'm going to quote verbatim, we can feel the swiftness with which he will walk the rest of his life. We can sense how he sat at the edge of his chair at every Farbrengen, every public address. Here are his exact words. When one contemplates that he is given a set number of days to live, no less and no more, and that on every day, every hour, and at every moment he must labor to fulfill his mission in this world, it troubles him so much that he has no time at all to think about lofty aspirations. Like, for instance, achieving love and awe of God. And then the Rebbe continues, and again I quote, when a person knows that at every moment he must fulfill his mission in life, and if one moment passes in which he does not fulfill his mission, not only does he miss on an opportunity to advance and flourish in his service of Hashem, but moreover, at that moment, he rebels against the Melech Malchei Hamlochim, the King of all kings. And when the Rebbe says these words, he can no longer continue to speak. He breaks down in tears and places his holy head on the table. And only after some minutes pass can he resume speaking. This is the picture I suggest we carry with us forward. This is a portrait to carry through life. And here are the words to go with that picture again. When a person knows that at every moment he must fulfill his mission in life, and if one moment passes in which he does not fulfill his mission, not only does he miss on an opportunity to advance and flourish in his service of Hashem, but moreover, at that moment, he rebels against the King of all kings. Heart-wrenching crying, agonizing sobs rack the Rebbe's holy body. This is a cry from the essence. Far be it from me to understand the enormity and the profundity of this expression. But it did happen in public, and so I believe it is a moment we must take to heart. Of course, this can be understood as the Rebbe reflecting on the enormity of the job that lie before him. But just as surely, it is a charge, a mandate, a statement of mission meant for each one of us. We have been given years, only a few days really. We have been given gifts, resources, talents, abilities. We have been given an assignment to transform this world. The question that echoes ever louder with every passing day is, what have you done? God said to Adam in Gan Eden, Ayeka, where are you? The Alter Rebbe, the founder of Chabad Hasidism, taught that this question echoes across time as God asks each one of us, Ayeka, where are you? Our Rebbe asks us to look beyond the self and to answer the question, what have you done for the world, for the Creator, to advance His plan? We should freeze that frame, see it before our eyes always. The Rebbe, with his head down on the table, crying, reaching out to us, reminding us, saying to us with urgency and intensity, I believe in you. I am counting on you. I trust you. I know you can do this. And there is no time. You who have gathered tonight are the Rebbe's arms and legs in Wilmette. You realize just how important and urgent is this work. You have made a decision to invest in Chabad's work today and thereby impact eternity. I have no doubt that the building you are about to open will give the Rebbe great nachas. I also have no doubt that when it is open, the Rebbe will not want you to rest on that accomplishment. He will be asking, what new programs are you offering? In which way are you expanding and deepening your in and outreach to every Jew in your area? I want to conclude with a short story. Reb Shmelka of Nikolsburg was known far and wide for his intelligence, his piety, and his golden heart. He could never turn away someone who needed help. And often it was at the expense of his own family. So much so that at one point his wife hid the few precious pieces of jewelry she had in her possession, fearing that if she did not hide them, her husband would give even these away. And sure enough, it happened one day that a pauper came to Reb Shmelka's door asking for some assistance, and Reb Shmelka had nothing to give him. And somehow sensing that his wife had hidden her jewelry, he looked around, and sure enough, after digging around a little bit, literally, he found the jewelry. And he gave it to this poor man. A very short while later, his wife came home, and seeing the floor in somewhat of a disarray, a soft earth, not as smooth as when she had left the home, asked her husband, did you find the jewelry I hid and give it away? And he said, yes. How could I not give something to this poor man that came to our door? She began to berate him, not only for giving away her jewelry, but she told him, Shmelka, what did you do? This poor man is going to go to the market. He doesn't realize how valuable the jewels are. He will most likely be given very, very little in compensation. What does the poor man know about jewelry? Everyone will take advantage of him. And so, in a moment's notice, Reb Shmelka ran after the pauper. He ran and ran until he caught up with him. He shook shoulder. He said, Reb Yid, my dear friend, I want you to know the jewelry you have is quite valuable. Don't let anyone give you less money for it than you should be getting for it. I'm running after us, you and I. I'm running after us to remind us that we have something that is truly invaluable. And sometimes we don't even realize the value of what we have. It will take the eternity of time and then some for us to unpack the preciousness, the true value of the Rebbe's teachings and gifts to us, of his directives. We need to remind ourselves, we who are gathered here, the fortunate ones, just how lucky we are to have this connection, and just how much the Rebbe is expecting of us to accomplish in our internal religious lives, in our communal lives, in our home lives, in our daily interactions in business, in our community, in the world entire. And of course, you know, the Rebbe always wanted us to do it today, not tomorrow. So I'm wishing you tremendous hatzlacha, tremendous luck in all that you have to do before you. I'm wishing you a good night and warm regards from Binghamton, New York, where I am stuck. All the best.